Offshore powerboat racing is one of the most glamorous sports in the world. There are no cheap thrills here. Known throughout the world as a rich man's sport, the men that own and drive these offshore missiles are an elite cadre. Not only are they willing to go to great expense to maintain their high-tech, state-of-the-art equipment, but they are willing to accept the physical punishment that the sport inflicts. Racing in seas that sometimes exceed 10 feet at speeds of 90 miles per hour, the crews of offshore boats withstand shocks at a G-pull of 15 to 20 times the force of gravity. It's not the lure of prize money that attracts these macho men to the sport. It's the sheer exhilaration of winning. To the uninitiated, offshore racing might look like a simple matter of raw speed. It is considerably more complex. Offshore racing is a fusion of human skill with precision, high-performance machinery. All of this takes place in an arena of grueling competition and Mother Nature's extreme conditions. Modern offshore race boats have become so sophisticated and complex that some claim there are more ways to go wrong than right. It is a major moral and mechanical victory just making the start in these races. It takes months of preparation and the hard work of many behind the scenes to prepare a boat for racing. Each boat represents a large investment in time and manpower as well as money. To the men who race these boats, the thrill of victory far outweighs the expense of defeat. Physically, offshore racing is a demanding sport. The crew must take hours of repeated shocks as the boats skip from wave to wave. Mentally, it demands total concentration. A momentary waver of attention can literally flip a speeding boat. Offshore racers are a tough breed. They have to be. Surviving the pounding torture of racing requires crews to be in top condition physically as well as mentally. Lightning reflexes and split-second judgment can make the difference between victory and tragedy. These boats don't just go to sea, they attack it. Racing on the open sea is not like any other type of motorsport competition. Offshore racers must match themselves against each other and the unforgiving sea. Generally, there are either 2 or 3 people in every offshore racing boat. The driver is responsible for planning the strategy and overall conduct of the race in addition to steering the boat. This may sound easy, but it requires a great amount of skill. The driver must steer through the waves, watch out for floating debris, and keep on the course set by the navigator. The second person in the race boat operates the throttles. The throttle man also acts as a co-driver. He is responsible for setting the boat's trim and knowing when to feather or charge on the throttles. If he miscalculates, the boat will go out of control. Excessive revving of the engine can result in mechanical failure. So a throttle man's job requires great concentration and attention to detail. The third person is the navigator, who uses the compass, charts, and other materials to keep the boat on course. He must communicate effectively with the driver to make sure the boat stays on course. A miscalculation of even 1 degree over many miles could mean the difference between winning and being lost. The ability to find the way through unmarked, unfriendly seas, even with reduced visibility, is the hallmark of a good navigator. Frequently, either the navigator or the throttle man is a skilled mechanic who can repair problems that can arise during the race. Where there are only 2 people in the boat, one is the driver and the other a combination of throttle man and navigator. Some of the larger boats, most notably in the superboat class, have room for additional crew members. However, a maximum of 4 persons are permitted on board during any racing event. No 2 offshore courses are alike. With changing tides, currents, and weather conditions, no single course is exactly the same from day to day. Each offshore course is unique unto itself. A start-finish line, defined by a start-finish boat, marks the beginning and ending of the course. Prior to the race, participants are provided with a chart showing the layout of the course. The chart indicates the sequence in which each checkboat must be passed. Contestants must pass by near enough to the checkboats to be identified by the naked eye, but not closer than 25 yards. Failure to properly pass a checkpoint may result in disqualification or other penalties. Each class starts the race separately, with superboats going first. The racers group together in a milling area and follow the pace boat to the starting line. Officials at the start boat must determine that the fleet is lined up properly. When the green flag is raised, the pace boat turns off the course and the race is underway. The pace boat then leads the next class to the starting line. The procedure is repeated until all the classes have started. Participants must complete the course within a prescribed time limit. Should a boat break down, the crew on board may stop to repair or replace the damaged parts. All navigation must be done by the crew aboard the boat. Teams that attempt to use outside means, such as radio contact to shore or aircraft, are subject to disqualification. Generally, the first boat to finish in each class is the winner. However, penalties may result in a revision of the standings. Therefore, officials wait until all boats have finished before announcing the outcome. Participants have the right to appeal decisions of the referee to a protest jury, which is responsible for resolving disputes. There are 3 different types of races: national, divisional, and local. There are 7 to 10 races on the national circuit. They are spaced approximately 3 weeks apart. No divisional or local race can be scheduled to conflict with a national race date. National points are accrued, and the APBA High Point Championships are awarded at the end of the season. The first place finishing boat in each class receives 400 points. The second place finisher receives 300 points, with 225 points for third place, 169 points for fourth place, and so on down the line. All finishing drivers are awarded 1 point for every boat defeated in its class. Using a scoring system similar to the method used by NASCAR, a boat not able to finish the race will still be awarded place points. Boats are scored as they drop out of the event. The race itself will officially be over 10 minutes following the finish of the last class winner crossing the finish line. Teams which qualify by starting in 3 events are eligible to compete in the 3-race World Championship Series. Offshore powerboat racing is a wildly exciting sport, unique in all the world for its bright spectacle of action and danger. It takes a special type of individual to climb into the cockpit of one of these offshore missiles, one who can handle flying across the water at speeds over 100 miles per hour, with thousands of horsepower hurtling him to his destiny or doom.